Everybody, so this is live today. We have a number of breaking news, just so many information that was shared. Elon's been on a streak. He's been dropping information about the robot. There's a brand new video of the Tesla Optimus. But even more importantly, Financial Times is now reporting that there's a special committee that the Tesla board of directors are working on right now to create a compensation plan for Elon. There's Elon's been on a tear. He's just been making a lot of big, both bold statements as well as some really, really important statements. So first off, let's start off with this Optimus bot. They dropped a 40-second video of Tesla Optimus dancing, and we'll show you that. Elon replied to this one, which is, hey, a lot of bots can already dance, but Elon said, actually, it's the great hands are the hardest part. And then he also said, except for real world AI, which is super hard as well. And then finally he said, he's going to have an Optimus dance troupe on stage with him at the Tesla shareholders meeting to prove to people this is real. And then he finally, this person said, many people fail to appreciate that the engineering objective isn't just to make this work. They're making this work at volume production scale, at low cost, and production level reliability. It's infinitely harder than creating a one-off prototype. And of course, Elon said the same thing he always does. Prototypes are easy. Production is hard. So Brian, thank you very much. We're co-streaming it on your channel as well. Nick Gibbs should be joining us shortly. I'll play the new video of Optimus dancing and haven't heard your opinion yet of what you saw here.
Yeah. Well, I will start by saying dancing is silly. We made fun of the parkour robots, but it isn't about the dancing. It's about the degree of dexterity required to do the dancing. It's like the difference between a walking robot and a jogging robot is immense because you leave the ground briefly. I don't know who that is. But they need to, come on, go away. But they need to have completely different skill sets. This is a kind of robot that could walk on not just uneven terrain, but slippery terrain with error correction. So yeah, that's the kind of, and you can see that the toes bend now. The one toe, which is, I'm sure they would love to get away with a robot that doesn't have this many degrees of freedom.
Oops.
but that's what you need to have when you start thinking of all the human tasks.
The big deal, of course, is not that it's a dancing robot. Lots of robots dance. But what's the big deal is Milan Kovac pointed out, he's the guy in charge of Tesla AI. He said that it's real-time speed, zero CGI. It's been fully learned in simulation and zero shot transfer to real. That's the big innovation, right? So while it's fun that we were able to make this dancing, it's the improvements, the significant improvements to the robot model in simulation, domain randomization, and other techniques which will directly transfer to more practical situations as well, robust walking and agile full body control in general. And then they learned a few things on their hardware and tuned our power profile, right? So basically one shot, they showed it videos of humans dancing in the simulation. They then did it in simulation. And then they sent it off to the bot. The bot did it. One shot. That was the goal. And that's what they're able to do. But the movements are just so fluid. My wife took a look at this when I showed her the phone from far away. She said, that's just a human dancing. I said, no, it's a human. It's an Optimus bot. No, that's a human dancing. And I said, no. She needed to look closely. Of course, it's not human.
Even
but
when I saw,
when
I saw the bartenders at We Robot, online, of course, the movements of I said, oh, great. We're back to dressing up people as robots. As you know, those were not people dressed up as robots. It's just the movement was so natural. And then I noticed the wrist was, robotic. And I was stunned at how natural it could be.
Yeah, this is clearly Gen 2. They're not going to show you Gen 3. And like I said earlier, there are lots of bots. We've seen lots of dancing. You can see the comparison here. Even the one on the right looks like it's better. Sure. Actually, I don't know if that one's real. That could be CGI. The goal, though, it's not the dancing, as Elon said. It's the hands and it's the brains. And it's the training that matters. But, if it can do this, if it can make these kind of moves, I think that's what shows you that if they can do simulation to real world in one shot, and if it can do this actions, then I can see it basically, mowing the lawn and pouring me a blender and, using the blender or whatever. Yeah.
Whatever it may be. I saw someone tell me that if Optimus was as good as Tesla says, then why didn't it compete in this robot competition I'd never heard of? And I said, well, great. If Ferrari's that fast, how come they don't come down to my local thing and compete? Because that's not what this is about. This is, they won't need to compete. They don't need to impress anyone. This is going to be a real product real soon. And at that point, you can cast as much shade as you want and say it's not good enough for whatever reason. But the reality is, and like you said, some of those other robots dance very well. If you're going to overfit for a very specific use case, you're going to excel. I hope you do. But I don't care how good your robot can turn trained, programming into real world actions. If it doesn't know how to problem solve, if it doesn't know how to think, if it sees that instead of a Phillips head, it's some other strange shape. Maybe I should go look in the toolbox and see if I have one, or look it up online and see what it is and go, I get it. Other robots won't likely be able to do that, certainly not as quickly. That's the advantage. And even if the competition had something that was just as good, they can't build it. Not the way Tesla can.
Yeah. I'm done trying to explain to people because you see all these comments. Boston Dynamics has been doing that for 20 years and this is nothing. Everybody's doing it. Okay, you got to really dig a little deeper. So as a Tesla investor, I just care about Tesla's progress. And I already know the answers of why it's different than what we're seeing out there. And Tesla's progress is important. And that's what we're watching here. So take a look at this. This is Grok explaining what zero shot means. A zero shot means the Tesla Optimus was trained to dance in a simulated environment using reinforcement learning. Then they performed the moves in real world without additional training. This shows its ability to transfer skills from simulation to reality, a big step for robotics. It's significant because it cuts down on costly real-world training and highlights the robot's adaptability. However, limitations exist. It relies on diverse training data, may struggle with precise tasks, and could face safety issues in untested settings. So, I think this is Sawyer saying people think this is real. It is. This guy says, you keep believing that, bud. Elon said this. It does this every day in our Palo Alto lab. And multiple Optimus robots walk around the office 24/7 with no one watching over them, charging themselves as needed. He said this is still very far from our final form. And yeah, by the way, what we're watching is, again, Gen 2. You can see the wires still coming out of the forearms. This is not fully it. And then, of course, he's thinking big about compute online to become a terawatt power at some point in the future. So pretty big deal at this point. And then, of course, I've got lots of comments from at least 7 different Tesla AI employees coming out talking about this.
Wow. If you look at there are people who say, I hate Elon and Elon always lies. Great. Good for you. But you know who doesn't always lie? His department heads. When you look at the announcements by Ashok, by
Milan,
by all of them, by Cybertruck, by all of the divisions, when they say things, not only are they not promising the world and beyond, they temper expectations, but they still raise the bar and then meet it. So it's like the big announcement we saw last August saying, here's what you're getting for FSD in September and through the rest of the year. And like all the goals were hit except for maybe one, which was a week late. When the Optimus account says what's happening, I believe it. Because not only do they have to protect themselves, they have to answer to Elon. So, yeah he doesn't want, if there's going to be hype, it's going to be him doing it.
Here's what some of the employees actually did say. This guy named Min Sung An said, some more dance moves to share, trained entirely in simulation using reinforcement learning, deployed zero shot to the bot. I feel like my mind glitches when I see this happen, but this is real. We do real world AI with Optimus, and these achievements will make it more capable and useful. Min Sung is training robots to be better at Tesla Optimus. This guy, Srihari Sampathakumar, dancing is a hard problem, not just for humans, even for robots. It stresses timing, torque and latency budgets. Tesla Optimus nails it like a pro dancer with all of the AI inference running on board in real time. This is the other thing, right? You send it from computer to the bot, and the bot has AI inference, and it needs to be able to do it with timing, torque, and latency. So, the other bots we see dancing, they've been coded or they've been trained took a lot longer. He obviously works for AI in the Tesla Optimus. This guy, Russell Mendonca, Optimus AI, he said, this sim to real reinforcement learning pipeline we've built, scales to many different challenging motions. This tech will soon be extended to useful manipulation tasks. And I think that's the point, right? We saw dancing. And everybody goes, all the bots I've seen dancing. What matters next is, can it do all these other tasks? I was a little worried, right? I thought that when Tesla creates 5,000 bots this year, 2 to 5,000 bots this year, what are they all going to be doing? Pick and place. Okay, there's a big enough market for that. But what happens when they try to get to 50,000 bots next year? I think Tesla can only do maybe 20,000 bots for pick and place for 4 factories. What would they do with 50,000 bots?
Even
They'd have
that.
to sell it to others.
Yeah.
And I think they need to have other functions, features. They need to be able to do other things. I'm much more confident now that the bot can learn other things other than pick and place to go to the 50,000 mark.
Well, so how big of a deal is it getting from the traditional way of doing it to zero shot? And the answer to me is, have you ever tried to plan a big event? There's a million moving pieces and they all need to come together, and they never all come together. No matter how hard you plan, no matter how much you simulate the event before it happens, 100 things go wrong. What this is saying is, this isn't 100 things. This isn't 1,000 things. This is a million microscopic movements at different times, and it nailed it, which is like getting someone just handing you a recipe for a complicated French cuisine and you nailing it on the first try. That's amazing. I would be very impressed.
Yeah.
If you could do that.
And if you can train it and do this, then you can train anything. So I'm looking forward to more demos coming soon. So let's move on to other topics. There's just so much. There's so much. I'm going to insert this one before the big topic of the shareholder kind of vote that we're going to be coming up for Elon's compensation package. But this came out this morning. Joe Tegmeyer saw this. I don't know if you saw it because it just came out a few minutes ago.
I did just see it, but I saw it on my phone where it was too small and I couldn't make out the details.
Well, let's watch it together. So he said this. He caught something interesting today. He saw 2 heavily camouflaged cars driving on the west side of Giga, Texas. Several viewers noted this in a short video on the autonomous drive. Here's the pertinent section zoomed in. So let's watch his video because these, we're waiting for the, right? We're waiting for the, I don't have the video set up. Hold on. Let me find it now.
If you're not following Joe Tegmeyer, you should be, because he is out there 3 times a week. He makes the drive up from San Antonio.
Okay. He's following this car. This is self-driving Model Y driving to the parking lot. Now you see the Cybertruck on the left. Now take a look at that. Boom. It's a camouflaged car. And then there's another camouflaged car. So 2 of them. He drove by, or he's following this Model Y. He didn't realize it, that those 2 are there. Cybertruck comes out from the tunnel. And is it great? These are all self-driving, by the way. So it's like, yeah, the world is moving and you're self-driving through this space. So he just slowed it down here. Here's what they look like. I don't know. So it looks like that the Cybertruck is actually kind of escorting it, right? Because you see how it's blinking lights? I don't know if we can tell if it's a shorter vehicle, if it's a compact, but they camouflage the front and the back. And I do have the, what do you call it? The image of it close up. Oh, I don't have it. I thought I did. There it is. Yeah.
I don't know what to make of it. It's a bad angle. Why is it camouflaged? It looks like just a Model Y. But why is it camouflaged? Is it shorter? I can't tell.
It's heavily. I mean, it's not just pieces of it, right? Like the bra in the front. It's actually the whole front. And then you can almost see that it's the whole back. It could be a compact. It could really be. Or it could be still what some people think, that it's a, stripped down Model Y. So it's still kind of the Model Y shape. Maybe some changes to fascia and others. just to make it like a little bit, so not the same light bars in the front or back, but it can also be a compact car.
Yeah. Well, and again, we've got all the time in the world for them to release this. What's the deadline again?
We don't have
6
all the time
weeks.
in the world.
6
We
weeks.
got like 6 weeks.
This I would expect to be seeing it right now. There it is.
Is that right? So you would expect to start seeing, but why aren't we seeing it in the wild?
Well, so yeah, that's the thing is I would actually have expected to see it in the wild a month ago.
Yeah.
And like I said, Texas roads are very big and the night is very dark. It is very likely that they've been road testing them at night or in Michigan in plain sight where cars with camouflage are not even looked twice at because they're so common. But if it's not too dissimilar from the 3 and Y, or in this case, just the Y, it's not going to likely need as much road testing.
Okay. We are waiting for these to arrive. I can't wait for it to come.
You must. You have no choice.
I have to wait. I think it can drop very soon. That's the point about Tesla. Any moment, anything can happen, and just so many things can happen. Like the choices of what can be dropped, robotaxi news, robot news, new megapack factory, a new big giant deal with Saudi Arabia.
Knockdown factory in India.
A knockdown, yeah, so selling in India, these new, more affordable vehicles. You can go down the list. It just massive news can come at any moment. And we're all expecting some giant news coming in. Let's talk a little bit more about that. But the big one, I think, is the shareholder vote that might be coming. One of the things we were waiting for 3 weeks ago, right? We were expecting that there was going to be a proxy dropped by Tesla so that the shareholders can start voting. And then they would also tell us when the shareholder meeting is coming. And typically the shareholder meeting we were expecting to happen in June. So we were expecting the proxy to drop 3 weeks ago, but it didn't. And so Alexander Merz was saying, well, if it hasn't dropped yet for that long, that typically is a signal that there's something big coming. Something big is coming that's holding it up. It could have been bad news. It could be really bad news. But I think now we know that it's actually really good news. And that is the Financial Times is reporting that apparently the Tesla board is exploring new pay deal for Elon Musk. Because if you remember, his 2018 compensation package was basically ripped down, removed or destroyed by the Delaware judge McCormick, and it's in appeal. So we won't know the results of that appeal to the end of this year. But in the meantime, what is Elon's compensation package? Shouldn't we as shareholders be voting for his future compensation package and also even voting for his, what do we do to reinstate his previous one if the appeal fails? And so apparently it's Robin Denholm, the chair of Tesla board, Kathleen Wilson-Thompson. The two of them are working on Musk's pay package to explore alternative ways to compensate him for past work should Tesla fail to reinstate his record 2018 pay deal via the appeal. That doesn't happen. Plus, what should his new pay package be?
So my question is, could we get two things to vote on? Could we get a if appeal and if appeal denied? So that way, no matter what happens, whether the appeal is victorious or not, we know we have certainty. Maybe that's a possibility. Maybe it's two separate things that we vote on. One is the new comp plan and the other is in case the old comp plan is dissolved, this is the new one. I don't know. I'm just thinking, but 8 years to work without pay strikes me as a little low. And the people saying, yeah, but he's not working all that much. He needs to work more. Okay, but you don't pay me for 8 years and let's see what my morale is like. And I'm being, of course, a little silly with that. He's very well compensated with the ownership of the shares he has, thanks to himself. And like Ross Sorkin was saying, this is the best deal ever. Because sure, it could be $1 kajillion, and it turned out to be, or it could be zero. Those were impossible milestones. And to the people who were saying, yeah, but they were guiding internally to already hit some of them. Right. Maybe, but not all of them. And if you really believed that at the time, you would have you would have mortgaged your house to buy long-term options on the stock because you knew what apparently in hindsight you claim to have known. I did see it going up. I did see it. That's why I put almost all my retirement into it, because I didn't invest until after Elon's comp plan had been finalized. And I even said to my wife at the time, look, if the stock goes up to this amount, Elon's going to get tens of billions of dollars and our house will be paid off.
So I don't know what they would do to reinstate the 2018 package. We have to ask Alexandra and
You know
lawyers
why people hate it? Because Elon's got a big package. It's true.
It's a big one, yeah. So in the 2018 package was 304 million stock options that is worth at the time $56 billion at the time of the January 2024 ruling where she rescinded it. It's at the peak in December when we had all-time highs, that was worth 146 billion. Right now it's 98 billion. But it was a 100% contingent on Elon hitting market cap, like ridiculous market cap growth and revenue and earnings to be able to be paid this much. Now he hit them, so this is owed to him. I don't know how, if the appeal doesn't work, what happens next. But
we'll have to restate earnings going back all those years, and all of the earnings will be revised upward because those huge amounts of money that Tesla put aside on paper to pay those stock options never happened. So all of a sudden, past years' financials would look way better than they did at the time, but it doesn't matter because it was never real cash. And stock value doesn't trade on an adjustment to the earnings 6 years ago.
So then the question becomes, if you can't reinstate the previous one, what happens to the future one at least? And then is that going to be put into the same scrutiny, of course, right? You got to make sure you hit, cross the T's and dot the I's and make sure it's done right. Is it going to be even more lucrative? I think it should be. It needs to be, I think, the same, which is based on market cap growth. If he's able to take the current market cap today and make it grow significantly, he should be compensated for the future. The other thing he says that he cares more about is the 25% voting control. And so I don't know how that happens, but apparently I think in Texas, you have the ability to have 2 levels of share ownership. So maybe that's what they'll do. And then the other option is this people are talking about is if Tesla can make a deal with XAI, then by getting an ownership of XAI, Elon then gets his voting control at that point. That makes the most sense.
What if I say the compensation plan is going to be $500 billion, and in order to do that, all he has to do is get the company to 20 trillion in market value. Now, can we agree that's impossible?
Times. Right.
20x.
Yeah.
Well, and bigger than the top 10 companies combined today. Can we agree that if he can 20x the stock from here, maybe he deserves $500 billion? It's impossible. We all just said it's impossible. Why not shoot for the stars?
Yeah, I guess again, this is the whole crazy part of this whole thing. How can you not believe that this is fair? If you can,
when you do the impossible.
If you can make the market cap of your company that you're running to grow, then you get paid. If you don't make it grow, you get paid nothing. It's just as fair as it can possibly be. And it's affordable. You can afford it by the company. If it grows to 20 trillion, you can pay him whatever whatever percentages that you've negotiated with them. So this is good news though. Okay. This should put to rest anybody who's thinking that Elon's going to leave the company, right? This is signals to you that the board of directors is looking to they're working on this. This is possibly why, most likely why they delayed the proxy. So when the proxy does drop, there's going to be an ability for us shareholders to vote and whether or not we agree with whatever comp plan that they're going to pitch to us. And we better do a good job this time. Like, I think we did a fantastic job last time, but the point that the Delaware judge McCormick said was that, the shareholders were duped. They didn't know that Kimball was Elon's brother. They didn't
Come on.
realize the deal that they were signing. Okay, well,
Come
let's
on.
yeah, let's make sure we do this correctly, or not that it wasn't again. No, it wasn't incorrect. It wasn't incorrect. So just do it again. It's in Texas this time, so it shouldn't be a
It
advocate.
shouldn't
Jordan.
be impossible.
Yeah. Okay, so I tell you, okay, let's review what we've got here. You got the news here, reports that Elon's going to have his compensation package being designed, and we're going to vote on it. Elon just said, right? Did I show at the beginning of the show here that he's going to have a troupe of robots dancing at the shareholder meeting? That means that he's going to be at the shareholder meeting, and he's going to be having many robots dancing at that shareholder meeting. You've got drops of the Optimus bot actually doing amazing things. Just a few days ago, he said that June is going to be big time. It's going to be game time. This is really big, important time. And just a number of tweets have you been following in the last several days? Like I would say 5 tweets at minimum a day about Tesla and about, the future and what he's thinking. It's wonderful to see that he's in it. In the meantime, by the way, he's still political. He still went to see the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia with President Trump. So he's doing it all.
Apologies. For some reason, my camera's not wanting to accept power. So I'm on the webcam now.
Okay. You look great.
Yeah. I mean, that's very kind of you. I'll accept it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just went through the whole list of all the things he's working on. What's your thoughts about all the things that's happened in the last several days here?
I'm waiting for a slow news week, and it hasn't happened yet. There's never a shortage of news, which is why we're able to do this. And it's very strange that it's that way. But I think we're part of the problem because we just keep pushing the news. If you ask me what I'm most excited about, because I saw someone had asked me that recently. In terms of Tesla, what are you the most excited about? And I'd have to say, pick a category. Am I excited about the bot? Yes. Nervous, apprehensive, unsure of where it's going. I think it's going to be something huge, but I can't wrap my head around it yet. Am I excited about Dojo? Kind of, yeah. But these are all such different things. What I'm really excited about, because I understand it, is autonomy. Are we really weeks, at most a month and a half away from unsupervised somewhere? Maybe not on my car, maybe not in my town, but are we doing this? If we are, the world's about to change. If you look at Back to the Future 2, they went to the future, the distant future, 2015, and they had a fax machine in the closet, because in the future, that's what you're going to have, is a fax machine in the closet, because they couldn't see the internet coming. This is one of those things where we're going to look back at videos that we made trying to predict use cases for this autonomy, for even robotics, and go, boy, we just didn't get it. That's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, I think the adage that you overestimate what's going to happen in the next year or two, but you completely underestimate what's going to happen in 5 years or longer, completely just missed the mark there. You're just too conservative. We're here. And the only reason I am so confident is that my car has been a robotaxi for me for the last 3.5 months. I've not had to have any intervention except for the beginning and the end of the drive to park the car. It's flawlessly driven me to any location, to Canada, to Portland, any place in restaurants I want to go to, any location I go to. It's driven me perfectly well for 3.5 months. And so for me, it's like, yeah, it's been a robo-taxi for me for this long. I don't know why people don't understand. It's already
butts
working.
in seats. Butts in seats. When someone says to me that they do not believe that robo-taxis will ever happen, I say, do you have a minute? Can we hop outside? I'll take you right now. Yeah. And I've had people say, I'm a little nervous. I go, you can be nervous if you want, but I'm still behind the wheel. And away we go. Just like that. The other day, it got in the wrong lane, turned the wrong direction, correct it. That's something humans do. It may have been trained on a human. Also, my cameras were filthy, so I think that was why.
Yeah, by the way, that's the big thing. You do just, folks, if you're having issues, clean your cameras and make sure that the front camera underneath the windshield is not having any fog. If you have a lot of sunlight glare, I used to have sunlight glare warnings every day. Like it happens so often. Then I brought it into service. They cleaned it. I've not had one single sunlight glare since then. So
the fogging on the inside.
Yeah, because you can imagine why, right? The sun kind of reflects off that. And
Yes.
some people have said, "Oh, I've cleaned it and I still have the problem." Okay, well, I don't have it anymore, and so, but it's just me, right? So we'll see. And then the other thing is the code that we're seeing in the, how they're finding out the code in the software app, and you can see it's there, right? All the codes you can expect for ride hailing. There's even one for call driver, which people don't know what that is, but it's just another signal that we're really doing this. The app is being upgraded so that you can actually, hail a ride hail.
I'm going to start a company right now, Herbert, and I've got working robotaxis. I just have them. What I don't have is a user base. How long is it going to take me to get to the millions of users that already have the Tesla app?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I'll tell you how long. So long that Waymo partnered with Uber instead. Waymo doesn't want to partner with Uber. They have to. And now you've got another middleman. First, you're paying someone to build the car. Now you're paying someone to find you the riders. This is not good.
And you have to pay NVIDIA for the chips.
Oh,
You have to pay somebody to clean the car. And you're sharing that revenue, and yet you're somehow able to have the same price point.
We call this cereal "Oops, all middlemen."
Is that what it's called? Oops.
Yeah, "Oops, all middlemen." Mm-hmm.
I don't like that cereal.
No, no.
I mean, so yeah, there's people who have one way of thinking, and then there's us. But yeah, I guess it doesn't matter about the competitors. It doesn't. What matters is whether or not Tesla accomplishes what they need to accomplish, and they grow and they roll this out. That's what we're betting on.
Yeah.
And so are they going to do June? I think the betting market would say, I don't know, I'd be at 80%, 90% likely that they will launch a robotaxi paid commercial program, some form, 10 to 20 cars in June. That looks like we're at 80, 90% chance at this point. Now, will that happen by the end of this year? I'd give it 90% or higher chance that it will happen sometime at the end of this year. If there's some reason because that's a high chance of delays. Lots of reasons that can pop up for one reason or another that they'll be delayed. But in terms of technology, I think we're here. Oh, I think we lost you. You're frozen. Frozen Brian. Dude. Here. Frozen Brian. Where is that Nick? Okay. The other thing that that there's just so many things. Cortex 2 has been, Joe Techmeyer found permits for Cortex 2. And I was saying that is actually one of the most biggest signals as Tesla investors usually be following. It's whether or not Tesla's AI compute is continuing to grow, and is it growing fast? Are they building it? And there's photos of the and permits of this new facility near Giga Texas. So we already know Cortex 1 is inside Giga Texas, and that's up and running. I think there's at least 100,000 H100s. That's the last time we heard that it was equivalent to that was running. But building the Cortex 2, it should be up and running by the end of this year. If that happens, then again, if you're worried about, Tesla hitting robotaxi level capabilities, then at least we know that within a year, right, this features and capabilities will grow as well. That's more important. And then, and then what else? There is this news that Tesla is actually going to start selling maybe cars in India. There is this reports here that they're looking for land in Maharashtra, India, and it's a completely knocked down assembly unit for electric vehicles. This is apparently a senior government official that's saying this, telling Business Standard. So I was going to ask Brian this, but he knows quite a bit about this. But an assembly unit for EVs, this is, not this is not them necessarily manufacturing in India, but it just shows you that they're going to be selling cars in India. This is another signal, right? They've got showrooms that they've already leased out. They've got employees that they're hiring in India. And now you've got this assembly unit. So that means that they're bringing in cars and they're going to final assembly it in India, and then you're going to sell Teslas in India. So are we in between those two growth waves? Are we going to start growing, seeing growth? We've got the new, more affordable vehicles, and then soon we're going to be able to sell to a giant new market in India to help grow that. At the same time, I've been hearing that you can't buy a Model Y in China and in Canada anymore. And then you and I just did a show where we covered why it is that we saw that last week's China numbers were lower than usual. Why don't we address that, Brian? The China numbers for me, the week of May 5th to 11th was just 3,000 Tesla insurance registrations. This is 58% down from last week, 68.7% down year over year. Something's definitely going on in China. And if you compare it to what other the car companies are doing there, they seem to be doing fine, but Tesla's numbers are much lower than usual. So why do you think this is happening, Brian?
Well, clearly it's because people don't like Elon. No? Well, the news is very different there. And I asked, and I know it's just my anecdote, but I asked everyone what they thought of Tesla, and I never got an answer that veered in any way into politics. Most people liked the brand. Some people liked it well enough, but liked something else more. But nobody said, to heck with that company, I'll never, blah, blah, blah. So it's the people saying the demand, it's the competition has arrived. Really? Did it arrive a week and a half ago? Did it show up on May Day? If it did, then that would explain the sharp drop. If Xiaomi and Huawei both hit the market 2 weeks ago, I could see that being, we got to jump over the new hotness and Tesla would be down for a while. That's not what happened. There's no milestone that would cause a sudden sharp drop. You and I have talked about this. It's going to be on your show, I think, today or tomorrow. One theory that I like is that because no ships were in transit with any kind of cargo from China to the west coast of the U.S. A couple of weeks ago, that means there's probably some shipping capacity available to go to other countries. Normally, these ships are booked very tight on the schedule, elbow to elbow, so they can't. They don't sit any longer than they have to. But all of a sudden you've got ships with nothing to do. And I know China doesn't sell many cars to the US, but the number is not zero. They do have a few RoRos, the roll-on, roll-off shipping giant ocean liners that come over all the time. Some of them are carrying farm equipment. Some of them are carrying buses. Some of them are carrying cars like Volvo and Polestar. So they do exist, or did, not last month. So what were those? What an opportunity to say, look, cut me a deal on that ship and I'll load it up and send it to Korea or Australia or New Zealand or wherever it may be, to move those cars out to markets where the margin is better, because the market's still going to be there in China. That's a possibility. We don't know. We'll find out more in a couple of weeks, but it's a very good possibility. There is a red flag. It could just be, could just be a flag.
Yeah, I agree with this. So first of all, I love that theory a lot, Brian. That's brilliant. So with the tariff concern that happened a couple of weeks ago, lots of people stopped shipping products. They wanted to see what's going to happen, and then they kind of start to get resolved, or there was some kind of resolution to this, and so then people start to get those ships moving again. And so that could explain why last week, like your theory, that maybe China started to export more and then going to start selling domestically this week. Jeff Lutz had his reasons and his opinions. He said, yeah, obviously a low number for weekly Tesla China insurance. There is competition, but demand doesn't fall off a cliff in 1 week. So something what you just said, similar. He doesn't think it's a demand issue. You don't just see, oh my God, people stopped wanting to buy Tesla last week. There must be some other reason. He said one example could be a holiday restart. Factories won't be at 100% day 1, 2, and 3. Another one could be that there's some sort of inbound supply issue. But the third one, which is the one I think it is that maybe the new affordable vehicles are about to come and they're doing some sort of capacity and line maintenance. That to me sounds the most likely situation that's going on. I mean, we're talking about the exact timing, right? This is the week where you see them producing less cars and less sales. I think maybe they're working on the more affordable vehicles. That could be it. What do you think?
Well, so on that, on point three, I would say China will be very likely the first to launch any new product just because they're so good at it. But to Jeff's first point about the holiday, I haven't seen people address this as much, and it is a good point to address, which is that, well, Tesla hasn't had a problem with that holiday before, and other companies didn't either. Well, other companies carry more inventory, more days of inventory. It's like, right, but Tesla never does. Yes, but Tesla was still in the restocking phase. So if you're just restocking when you get your big holiday hit, then you might not have anything.
Oh, we just lost you again, Brian. Frozen Brian twice. He's in Mexico right now.
I don't know if you got any of that.
I got it. Yeah. We just missed you for like 20 seconds, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, great points about the holiday thing. But okay, so China's sales are lower than we expected. We don't know yet if it was a demand issue, which is what people are going to jump on. We've got to wait another week. At the end of the day, still what matters is we're moving to autonomy, right? Did you hear about the, we already talked about this, but did you hear about the Cortex 2 permits? Oh, Brian's frozen again. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, we lost them. Okay. So the other news that's, there's just so much. Which one do we cover here? So Robotaxi coming to Saudi Arabia. Elon was interviewed yesterday at the Saudi when he visited with President Trump. By the way, Jensen Huang was there. Sam Altman was there. There's some sort of big deal. They announced that, which is they're allowing NVIDIA chips to be sold to Saudi Arabia. But there's also Saudi is going to be investing quite a number of billions. I've got the whole thing here and I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. But that is at any point in time, there's going to be some sort of massive deal. I was just talking about Saudi Arabia and the deals that they were signing, and Elon was physically there along with the people like Jensen and Sam Altman. And of course, they're making a big deal. They're trillions of dollars Saudi has. And so this is what I was just making a point. Like, if you're a short, you want to short Tesla, are you like something? Is something missing in your of all companies, at any moment, an entire nation could strike a deal, and just at any moment, this can happen. I mean, I don't know why you would risk that at this point.
I think there's a gambler mentality in there. And especially if you're a gambler who got lucky a few times, like we've seen with, what's his name, the Big Short himself.
Jim Chanos?
No, the other one.
Oh, Michael Burry?
Yeah. Burry got lucky once and thought he was a genius. And ever since then, he's spent all of his time squandering his and other people's money because he's smarter than everyone else. And I'm sorry, Michael, but you're not. And when it comes to shorting Tesla, yes, the market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent, but I would say the market wasn't irrational. I would say people like you and I were looking at it critically, analyzing the heck out of it, and seeing something that somehow he couldn't see. And of course, history proved us right, but I'm still looking at it and I still see something he can't see. And maybe now it's my turn to be wrong. Maybe now it's my turn to say I got lucky once and now I'll lose the rest of my money in the future. But I haven't changed my analysis methods.
Yeah. I mean, both parties can be right. You can have the stock fall in the next 6 months, depending on your time frame. Then it can jump, or it can, but to risk it with Tesla, with shorts, of course, you don't have a limit to the upside, how much you'll owe. And
yeah,
I wouldn't ever do that deal, especially when an innovation company, a company that could innovate something at any moment. Even if a company's not innovating, I just personally don't want to invest in that company because hey, you never know. Maybe they buy a company with a patent or something like that with somewhere. They can do that. And it happens. And all of a sudden, they're no longer that same company that you invested in. Yeah. So there's that. There was a NHTSA letter sent to Tesla. And so that was one thing that some of the shorts were pointing out to. I think we had Dan O'Dowd point out, it goes, hey, this is NHTSA telling Tesla, watch out. They're asking questions, just asking questions, like the things that we investors want to know as well, that they're going to answer very shortly, right? Like, are you going to have safety drivers? How many cars are you going to have in there? What are you going to do if there's fog or rain? How does the car handle these things? These are standard questions. Nothing there pointing to the fact that NHTSA is going to deny them the permit. The other thing too, though, is if you think about it, there are many, many vendors that already got approval for a permit to test out their robotaxi program. This is not the first thing that Tesla's doing. They're following many other car companies that are doing this. So for a short to think that that means Tesla's in trouble, I think it's a nothing burger. This is NHTSA doing what they're supposed to do, ask questions, and then Elon and Tesla will answer these questions. And so that will be there. You've got Elon forwarding a video of Cybercab. He posted Cybercab saying that Cybercabs is going to be ubiquitous. He posted a note saying that Gary Black just doesn't get it, because Gary was still thinking that Uber is, you cannot beat Uber. He posted a video of Cybercab vacuum cleaning. So Elon's been very, very busy. He's also reposted a video of Tesla FSD supervised driving in LAX. Then there's also Tesla submitting job openings for autopilot test specialists in Tempe, Arizona. So this might mean that some point in the future, maybe not right away, but some point that could be one of the areas of expansion is Tempe, Arizona. So this is just so many things here that just kept going. I think that with the trade deal and the China deal, kind of like at least for the next 90 days, going to be stable. And Tesla is not going to be affected by that much anyways, except for the batteries. At least this gives them the ability to kind of gives them that time that they need to find a kind of a solution for that. But the impact is actually not that big of a deal for Tesla, regardless. So I'm not so worried about that in that case. But the real thing, the question you guys should be watching out for is the impact to all the other car companies. They are one after another reporting. I'm going to be doing another show shortly where we just go through the Nissan's profits is just gone off the hook here. Everybody's been impacted significantly. We got to go down that list of what's happening. We got Hyundai basically saying that they're no longer going to do their version of cybercasting for 2028 because of tariffs, because their cars are being tariffed to come in imported to the US. That's going to have a $5 billion impact to them. So that's a big issue. So yeah, it's lots of things happening here. So what else did I miss here? Yeah, robotaxis coming to Saudi Kingdom. I mean, I don't know if that was an actual real thing that Elon said that he's going to do, because he was just asked the question, can you please do it here? And he said, yes, it's coming. And I don't know if that was approved or not approved, but like, yeah, I mean, if Saudi Kingdom approves it, then why wouldn't they put in robotaxi there? And it depends on when. I don't think that they should do that. They should go the large markets first, China and the United States, and grow from there, in Europe, before we move. But why not? This is going to go global. It's like it can easily be turned on any country at any time that approves it. And I've been correct thinking and saying that regulation is actually not the rate limiting step that everybody kept saying it was. In fact, it's the opposite. Many cities, many countries will vie and ask and beg to be the first to come on board. So I don't know. So I think we lost Brian. I've got to go. I've got a meeting here at exactly the top of the hour as well. So thank you guys very much. I will pause this and stay on, and you'll be redirected if Brian's there. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.